Steeler Nation, we are back for another great week on the one and only The Sick Podcast, Steeler Crazy. I am Jay York Football. Alongside of me is Mic'd Up Sports One, as always. And man, we're rocking and rolling, telling a lot of great stories on these recent podcast episodes, and excited for our next guest as well. How's everything going? How's your start to the week?
Hello, sir. It's been good. It's schedule release week, so that's a big deal. I can't believe the NFL has turned things like a schedule release into a huge event. It just shows the popularity of the sport. I'm kind of just sitting on pins and needles to see where the Steelers are going to play in Week 9 and Week 16, and if they're going to get a colder game, in Chicago later in the season, or have a warmer game early in the year. There's just so many little intricacies that go into this. So, hey, maybe by the time you're watching this, you'll know where the Steelers are going to be throughout the season. But, these guys are locked in either way. It doesn't matter who's on the schedule at any time, right? They'll play, and like they say, they'll play in on gravel or on cement if it came to it. But it's exciting, man. Like you always said, it never sleeps 24/7, no doubt.
Yeah, I know. I seen you. We were just talking earlier about, you had that viral tweet, and who's the source? You're the source. I'd like to say Mic'd Up Sports One is the source. Look, they're calling now already.
The source is calling. The source is here. No, it was it's a tweet that we'll save for another day. It was a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for? A little bit of sarcasm.
Sounds good. Well, hey, we're excited for our next guest. So, Jimmy, press play.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Steelers Crazy.
Harris Smith shields. Flacco, Polamalu takes it home. Super Bowl 43. Pittsburgh might be bound for that thanks to number 43.
The sickest Pittsburgh Steelers podcast. Sports entertainment like no other. It's gonna be sick.
We're catching up with Steelers from rookie minicamp, getting their side of the story, of course, as we're all reading tweets, catching up on the news, hearing about the coaches heading out, of course, helping these guys grow and hopefully make it to the next level. Today is certainly no different. We're excited to welcome in one of the best long snappers in the country, if not the best in college last year, Donato Crisanti. Donato, what's going on, man?
How's it going?
Good. You're rocking the Steelers gold there, man. Looking good. So obviously just want to start with, a little bit of background on you before the trip you made to Pittsburgh a week and a half ago. Talk a little bit about your college journey from Rutgers to Rhode Island. I know you're a little bit of a well-traveled guy, right?
Yeah. So I started off so I was originally committed to Rhode Island in high school, and my goal was to, of course, make it to this level. So I thought going into college, I kind of needed to go to a bigger school. So I decided to flip and go to Rutgers. I was there for a year. During our season, it wasn't our best season. We went 2-10 that year, and our head coach was fired. So after that, they brought in a new head coach, and I stuck through with him for the spring semester. It just didn't work out with me and him. They seemed that they were out recruiting me, even though I was on the travel squad. I was long snapper number 2 out of 4 guys as a true freshman. I thought I was doing something right, but they just seemed to go in another direction. And I hopped in the portal. I was only in the portal for a day. I had probably 8 to 12 offers to FBS schools, FCS schools from all different conferences. But I wanted to go to Rhode Island because I was originally committed there for a reason. And my overall goal at that point was play 4 to 5 years and get film, because if they're good enough, they're going to find you. I realized at that point. Went to Rhode Island. Spring season happened because they did not have a fall season. So I only got to play 3 games then, but it was fun. Sophomore season came. We finished 7-4. Next season, we finished 7-4 as well. It was tricky because we hadn't made the playoffs since 1985, 1984. So we were chasing that one extra game to get in the playoffs, and we're just like coming so close, but not doing it. Next season, go 6-5, which was a bummer. And then this year, finally, we went 11-3, won the conference for the first.
Oh.
Yeah. won the conference first time, made it to the second round of the playoffs. We honestly should have made it to the third round against North Dakota, but it just didn't go our way. We were that kind of team that just last minute would win every game. And if things didn't go our way, we could have probably finished like 3 wins at most on the season, but we always found a way to finish on top. So that really didn't matter. And now I'm here.
Yeah, well, an impressive season nonetheless, and I feel like it kind of describes you in a nutshell for sure with that career, as you mentioned. Was looking back a little bit on your career. It seems like at least the last few years in college, you're never really injured, right? Your durability,
No.
something that you must be proud of. How important was that to you?
Yeah, I see like a lot of long snappers and stuff like that. Like they get injured, they'll miss a practice here and there. My goal was, of course, stay consistent as best as I could. I always preached on being the first one there. I wasn't always the most athletically gifted growing up. So I realized coming into college, if I really wanted to play, I had to be the one that was doing 2 to 3 extra lifts a week, even though we were only mandatory, supposed to do like 3, doing the extra stuff, staying for the summer sessions, working out extra, coming in early, leaving late. And I felt like doing that really pushed me to this kind of level. And even the team started to progress as more players came in. They started to buy in the culture, and we started winning more games.
That's awesome. So we are telling the story. We're hitting like chapter 2, chapter 3, and we're going to get obviously to some of the meat and potatoes with the Steelers whenever I pass it to Jordan after this. But obviously a lot of off-season work went into, this opportunity.
Yeah.
Draft prep, things of that nature. Tell us a little bit about that. And I know you had a good experience at the Hoola Bowl.
Oh, yeah. So season ends, waiting on all-star games. I kind of was hearing from the Hoola Bowl. It's tough being an FCS guy because these guys are like, think because I didn't transfer up that I wasn't, maybe I wasn't good enough. So I had to kind of wait on some other guys to see what bowl games they took. And I knew I was going to get the Hoola Bowl or something. And then in December, I just got home from the gym. I get a text from the head guy. He goes, "Hey, you got the invite." I'm like, "Perfect. I'll be there." I go to the Hoola Bowl within about like 2 weeks after, I believe. And, it was a fun event. I'll say that. Like, it was funny because getting on my flight from Hartford, the Steelers area scout was actually on my flight. I talked to him. He was a good dude, but you get there, right when I get in the hotel, I get text messages from coaches right away. Like, "Hey, we need to meet with you." And I'm like, this is great. And then the practices, all the sidelines are filled, you just doing what you do. And you get more comfortable throughout it. Of course, like you're a little bit nervous, but you just day 2, 3 up to the game, you just get used to it. And it was a great experience, getting to talk to coaches, getting to meet people, and getting to meet, honestly, other players that I've seen along traveling for the past 5 months. I get to see these guys over and over again. It's like getting to catch up with them, and it's pretty cool. And then after that, do you want me to keep going from there?
Yeah, of course.
So after that, I went to Boston and I trained for 2 months for my pro day with my speed coach, Reggie Garrett. My agent hooked me up with him. It's tough with specialists because some specialists want to go train with their kicking coach and some want to just train at home. But I was like, I need to get decent testing numbers to get a shot. I had good size, like I'm 6'4.5", 240. I'm like, okay, now I need to do good on the other events as well, just to show that I'm that guy. Because it's a lot of the NFL, I felt, was a lot of measurements, height, weight, 40, all that stuff. And if you don't test well, they're just going to write you right off. So I trained there for 2 months living in Boston. And it was it reminded me like a lot of Rhode Island, just like it wasn't like the craziest facility in the world, but like it's just gritty work and you're getting to it every day. And then I got to go to Arizona to see my snapping coach as well for a few days. We did he had a combine event. I got to meet some other dudes from the draft, and there was another event called the Senior Specialist Showcase where it was the top 9 kickers, punters, and snappers. And this class all got flown out. Everything was paid for, which was nice, but we all got to train with each other for a few days. And I actually met the punter, Fraser Mason. Mazin, who was at the mini camp with me. So I actually grew a good relationship with him because he was my roommate for that. It was pretty cool because, you see dudes like get drafted out of this event. All of us got opportunities of some sort, and then went back home, back to Boston, trained for a little bit, had my pro day at UConn. Actually ran into the Steeler scout there, and I was joking with him around too a bit because I was like, I see you everywhere now, it seems. But I had a really good, I had a pretty good pro day, did what I needed to, and I snapped really well. And then from there, I had a local day with the Patriots about a week after. They invited me before the pro day, so it felt good, like going into the pro day knowing, okay, someone wants me. It's just hard. I'm not like Will Howard getting calls about getting drafted specialists. It's tricky. And then did my pro day, and then do you want me to get into the draft now?
I know.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, whatever you want to jump into, please. We got all time in the world.
Yeah. So then come draft day, just waiting. Heard from a few teams in the 5th and 6th round from my agent. So I was like, okay. I thought realistically I was going to get signed after because I heard from some teams. Draft ends. Didn't really hear nothing. They're like, we'll get back to you tomorrow, which sucks because you're going to bed like, shoot, I thought I deserved to be a signed guy. Even though I'm an FCS guy, I thought I deserved to be a signed guy. Saturday comes, I get an invite from the Jets. I'm like, okay, let's take that right now. Or Sunday comes, sorry, let's take that right now. Next day comes, I don't know why, but get calls from about 2 or 3 more teams. Hey, we want you to come out for this weekend. And it's the same weekend. And I had to evaluate my options, and we felt the Steelers were the best option. My agent was like, you have to go to the Steelers. And like, I grew up a Steelers fan. So I was trying not to be too biased. But I knew, I was like, I got to go there. And he was like, he realized after he told me that, he was like, oh, shoot, I forgot you're a Steelers fan. I'm like, yeah, like, I think we should do this. He goes, dude, let's go do it. So we decided to go there.
Yeah, talk about, what that experience was like. And obviously you kind of just hit the nail on the head there, just growing up a Steelers fan, and then, having it's kind of like, surreal to, walk into those facilities for rookie minicamp. But just talk about like, that experience and what did you take away from that?
Yeah. So of course we get there Thursday, and it was really cool. I like the Pittsburgh Steelers combo on the building. It was pretty cool because the Pitt's head coach actually was a Rhode Island alum, and he was like texting.
Pat Narduzzi. Yep.
Yeah, he's a good dude. But it was cool because like I loved Troy Polamalu, James Harrison, Big Ben, all those guys growing up, and I'm just like walking in, seeing in the pictures, and everybody probably thinks I'm like just crazy because I'm just like looking at everything, and I'm like, this is just nuts.
Taking it all in.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
I remember like the first meeting we had that night, like Coach Tomlin walked in, and you're just like, oh shoot, okay, so that's what he looks like in person. You're just like, got to meet the first day Danny Smith as well. He's a great dude. He was honestly one of the best coaches I got to be around. He was one of those guys in those meetings where he would say something and I'm like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. I never questioned the coaches, the support staff. I could not find one thing where I would complain about this weekend at all. And I'm not just being biased. It was really a really fun experience. And then we had the walkthroughs in the morning and practices at night. But realistically, they're both practices. You're trying to put your best foot forward. I snapped really well and I blocked really well. It was just, it's kind of hard. It's a non-contact practice. It was really cool though, because like I felt deep down I did everything I could. It was also pretty cool meeting the other guys, like the draft picks. Like I remember the first walkthrough, I'm lining up for punt and Sawyer lines up right next to me, and I'm just like, oh shoot, like,
yeah,
dude, it's from Ohio State. I talked to Will Howard a bit because he knows a buddy of mine too. Like they're all really cool guys. And I just got to compete out there and got to work with Ben Sauls, who's the kicker that they signed as well. I met him before, and he's a great guy, probably one of the best guys I've met throughout, the most mature dude throughout this whole process. Got to compete against the 7-year vet, that they brought in to compete with me for the mini camp, and I felt I did really well and held my own too with it.
That's great. So what would you say the next steps are for you? Obviously, it was just a great weekend. I'm sure you're taking it in, but are you just like waiting for the call, getting back in the, weight room, obviously, and just head down and getting back to work?
Yeah. So I talked to Coach Smith at the end of it, and he was like, he really did not know too much about me coming in. I mean, I don't blame him. He was like, but I really helped myself this weekend with what I did. And the trick is just to keep going and trying to get into workouts and getting as much exposure. He goes, the only downside, the only critique he would give me this weekend is I don't have experience in a pro style scheme. I did block in college, but the pro style scheme is very different. And honestly, for him to say that, that's all I could do. I did everything I asked. I was the first one in the building, did everything extra, try to be as polite as possible. I can't be upset about what I did performance-wise either. So now I just have to keep going, keep getting opportunities. As a specialist, it's hard because these guys take 2 to 3 years to get into the league. Same thing with Kuntz. It took him a while to get the league. Well, it's not easy, but it's the guys that keep going that are able to stick around throughout these workouts and get in.
Yeah. Well, hey, we know no matter where you go, hope it's the Pittsburgh Steelers, but, they're getting a high character person, and I know you'll do great things. So we really appreciate you coming on here. I know that, our viewers will really appreciate this, just telling your story. These are some of, obviously, my favorite podcasts, just especially now, after saying that you're a Steeler fan, and then just kind of that surreal moment just walking through there. That was a really cool moment for you, I bet. But thank you again for coming on the show, man, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks,
Take care.
Appreciate it, man. Hey, how cool is that? I love hearing about Danny Smith. I think that's a big takeaway from me is, how often we talk about Tomlin on this podcast, or how often we talk about Terrell Austin, Arthur Smith, right? I wish special teams got more love. I know we had Christian Kuntz on, obviously, a bunch last year, and Donato the same position as him, so obviously I know he would be a guy who takes him under his wing at any, point in time if it came about, because he's the best dude of all time, Kuntz. And he loved Danny Smith too. So hearing that Smith was, obviously in his ear, making sure that he, was able to kind of grow from this experience and got a ton of great feedback from him is very positive all around. And like I said, it's great to give special teams some love, man. They're special for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, I'll end the podcast on this. Field position matters, and it's good to have someone, the durability like that, no injuries, came in, did what he had to do. Hey, I mean, you need depth in football too. We've seen it with the Steelers defense these past few years. It's, as Mike Tomlin always says, it's next man up. And, even if you get on that practice squad, you get your foot in the door, you never know. I mean, we've seen it time and time again. We always use the analogy of Duck Hodges, and you see how that turned out. So anything's possible, but I really do. I love, these are some of my favorite podcasts. Just to, hear the full story, and from, high school to college to now NFL, just really excited for these guys. And I know our viewers will love it too. So thank you guys for hanging out with us. We'll be back later this week. Again, Jay York Football, Mic'd Up Sports 1. Jimmy, go ahead.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Steelers Crazy on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.